What is self-respect? Should you give up self-respect when you surrender to the God? Let us hear from the students what they wish to answer.
Good morning, sir.
Yes.
Sir, for me, self-respect is giving value to my own thoughts, giving value to my own importance throughout my day and life, with respecting others. Like I shouldn't disrespect others. While respecting others, also I should respect my own point of view, my own necessaries, and through that being in the harmony with all of us, and to surrender to the God. uh, I don't think in front of God the self-respect thing actually comes, because when I am surrendering to God, then I am just surrendering everything myself. I am surrendering it. So I don't know, sir, how to put self-respect in surrendering to God.
Okay, so Saurindra says that you value your own point of view, your own thinking process. And when you surrender to God, self-respect need not be there because self itself is not there. Okay, let us
Then
hear from Vibha.
Good morning, everybody. I
Yes.
think self-respect is a form of self-love. You care for yourself, you value yourself, that can be considered as self-respect. I think in front of God, when surrendering to God, self-respect need not be necessary. Unless you are surrendering for God, self-respect is very necessary. Even bhaktas have their own self-respect. I think if we take example of Hanuman, Lord Hanuman, he was having self-respect like I am bhakta of Lord Ram. I think that is also very necessary. Even in case of Adi Shankaracharya, it is kind of mentioned that he was also having that Vidya Ahankar. So self-respect, I believe that all the facilities, the body that we got, the knowledge that we get, or the skills that we get is also a God gift. So to respect all of that, self-respect is very necessary.
Okay, so Vibha, doesn't agree with what Saurindra said. Vibha says that you need self-respect. When Lord Hanumana also went to Lanka and he was insulted, so he said that because I am a Rama Bhakta, I should take pride in that name, and that is his self-respect. Okay, very beautiful. Let us hear from Brinda. Brinda, please unmute and share your views.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, everyone. I feel that self-respect is the identity of our own self. What, not what people know us as. We might have different positions in life. A professor, then at home a husband, then with the children a father. All this, what is left after removing all this, and you value that is called what you value with what is left is called self-respect. And when surrendering to God, this won't it's like you become one with God, or you it's same God and you become same, so you will automatically surrender to God, is what I feel, sir.
Okay, Brinda brings a very beautiful point. She says that first you have to understand the self. Self is not what society has given you. Self is your real true nature, your core. And that without the impressions of another, when you value that, when you value your swadharma, that is self-respect. And it is not to impress others or to prove your point to others. It is your independent core. And then she says that she also goes with Saurindra. She says that when you're surrendering to God, there is no self-respect, or you don't have that thing. Let us hear from Nandini. She is our senior MSc student. Nandini, please unmute and tell us your point of view.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, everyone.
Yes.
Sir, self-respect in three aspects, that is physical, mental, and social. Physical being Annamaya Kosha also saying that no self-harm, no abuse to us, and mentally that is no self-negative thoughts, and not making us self down in any aspect, and socially that is getting value to us from everyone, as well as being valued, that is, and making ourselves socially benefited to everyone. That is the three aspects. And towards the god, I feel, as we saw in Ramakrishna, he was ready to give up his own life to see Mahakali. That is, he was able to live everything, the very core, that is our breath, that is our soul, for just to see Mahakali. So I think there is no self respect when it comes to the aspect of god.
Okay, very beautifully answered. Nandini is very clear and very crisply, very beautifully has put forward that self-respect at the level of the body, at the level of the social connect. And she also goes, with the aspect that if you are giving up everything of your core also, then there is nothing like self-respect on the path of bhakti. Okay, now we are open for discussion with the highly learned, experienced people who are there in this meeting. Please share your life experience. Please share what you think. Please unmute and share.
Sir, may I,
Good
morning,
Yes.
sir. May I speak?
Okay, Preeti ji. After Preeti ji, Gandhi sir. Yeah.
Okay. Gandhi sir wants to speak. I don't mind. I mean, he can go ahead.
No problem. Please, you speak, madam. Tell your.
Okay. Thank you.
Candidate.
Thank you so much, sir. So, sir, like the students have beautifully put, self-respect is how I value myself. And I think the most important thing is that I'm always open to correction. I'm also open to, make myself a better human being. So when I have self-respect for myself, I do not consider myself to be so-called perfect, but I also embrace my imperfections and also be kind to myself and compassionate to myself, in that belief that I have the ability to improve, and thereby also carrying on having a ripple effect in having compassion and empathy for others in my life, the other beings, and even nature for that matter. And as far as God goes, I think by submitting myself to God, I enhance my self respect. That is what I feel, in the ability that sometimes, reaching out to Him also makes me accept that what has happened, I may not like it, but that's what is God's will. And I respect that, and also have the faith in Him that He will lead me in the right path. So these are some of my thoughts on self-respect.
How beautifully you have put, Preeti ji. I wonder, how with lot of clarity, with how much clarity you got those correct words. Uh, Very, enlightening definition of self-respect. And, you brought in the perspective that self-respect actually, in that sense, the way you defined, improves, when you surrender to the God. Let us also hear from others. Gandhi sir.
Good morning, sir.
Yes.
Sir, self-respect or self-image or all these things are the same. So what we think and we will become. And it's a time immemorial, even during the pyramid days also, it was there to have a boost our self-respect. Man in the primitive age, he lived in the caves, where in the caves there will be paintings. Primitive man used to hunt the bison or the animal. So you'll be having a big spear in his hand, and and in front of it the animal or buffalo will be there. So when he go out from the cave, he will have the enthusiasm or self-image that I will succeed in getting the food for me. That is what the primitive man had the used to see the image before entering the for hunting. So that immemorial time is still now also you got the self-image and self-respect. And so we have to image ourselves or respect ourselves first. Then only we can succeed in our life also. That Always, you should not have a negative feeling, and you should have a positive feeling, and then only you can succeed in your life or
And
achieve
second
it.
question, sir, Gandhi sir, second question.
Yes, the second question is so towards the God. What the Bhagavad Gita says, soul power. The self-respect is a recognition, acceptance of soul's innate qualities come from the God. So that what we get the qualities, the soul as God, it is come from the God. That's what we have to think. It is that power, soul power is so stable. Our weakness we can overcome, and even our other our frictions or delude, all those things can be overcome. That we have got a soul power, which is coming from the God.
So
when you
self-respect
think like that,
increases, self-respect
increases because of it is coming from the innate qualities of the God.
Yes.
So
So
we are from the
Gandhi
God.
sir also goes with what Preeti madam has said. Let us hear from everybody. Kambam Raghunath ji. Yes.
Sir, I feel self-respect is loving yourself and treating yourself with more of your own care. That I feel it is self-respect for us.
Yes.
And particularly when we keep trust in God, we surrender to God. And that's what I feel about surrendering to God about this.
So self-respect gets surrendered when you surrender to God?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So very interesting, things are going on because we are seeing people you are giving us both the point of views. Very interesting. Okay, I would now like to request Shobhana ji to share her views, and after that Avinash ji. Yes.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, yes.
I feel
Shobhana ji, continue. Shobhana ji, are you there? Let us hear from Avinash ji. Avinash ji, unmute.
Hari Om Suprabhatam. So I think as we are hearing, there are various views, various points from different people. So that is why I think Indian philosophical system has already given various paths for different people. Even in Bhakti also we have different ways how we can show our Bhakti towards God. So that brings the question, what is self and what is respect, basically. So again, in different paths, they understand it differently. So each one can choose their own path, and based on that, they can move forward. Because as we know, everything leads to him at the end. So it doesn't matter which path that we choose. And also, as at the end, what Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, Sri Ji also tells that till the veil is there, we have to till the veil is covered from it separates us from the God. Once the veil is removed, we become one with him. So at that point it doesn't matter, we are one with him. So that's what I understand. So we are in that path. That's all. I'm very amateur, so I don't know, these are very small things I understood.
Thank you, Avinash. No, my question, why this question has come up is because, when people get into the path of bhakti and somebody insults them, okay, you are becoming a great bhakta, you are doing so much, there are many things people say when somebody is on the path of bhakti. So when a person does that, when others are, putting such remark or directly or indirectly harming them, whether they should revert, they should respond to that, or they should just accept it at God's will and just go through that suffering. Now, if they have self-respect, they will try to defend themselves. If I have surrendered that to God, then they will say, okay, whatever is happening, it's God's will, and let me go through. If somebody is insulting me, I will take it. So that is why this question has been asked practically, whether bhakta should become a person who need not, think of his mana, apmana and all that. So Radha ji, please share your views.
Good morning, sir. Thank you. Sir, is self-respect, it is nothing like that. It is within us only. It's
Hmm.
our own behavior towards you and towards everything. See, when you believe the God, everything is to God only. Because the Krishna says, I am within you, I am everybody, I am there in everybody soul. So whatever Krishna is saying, the Maya is doing everything. So when I am able to see the God in others also, it is nothing attaching to me. Only because of the situations people are reacting like this, I am also reacting, vice versa. Because when I was able to see that nothing is attaching, as it's not my body, it's not my mind. Only because of situation is happening. And no need to going of ego. When we are like going means it is an ego. We are not enlightened and we are not having the awareness of that. When we are ignorant, we think like that. But when we are going to knowing all, when you are little enlightenment and we are going knowledge about that, we feel like that yes, we have to show the love and compassion. It's there in inefficiency. It is there in competency, because they are like that. It's nothing attaching to me, because when I love myself, if anything mistake goes, even though I'll give some blah blah excuses, but same thing, if anybody is saying that, we have to show the same love and compassion and care how I'm showing towards me. So I'm should say that towards among beings, human beings also, then nothing is attached to me. And if anything goes wrong, even though I'm feeling like that, we have to go inside journey and we have to correct myself and not to erase such kind of situations. So there is no need of affecting me, as well as there are same human beings like me only. So everything, the God Krishna is there in everybody soul. So it's only happening because of Maya and because of illusion. So I feel like that. So thank you.
Radha, brings the jnana perspective here. She says that self-respect should be surrendered, because ultimately the same self is there in everybody. And whatever the way that I behave with myself when I make mistake, others also I should take it that way. So I should be forgiving, and that way she goes in line with, that you should not have self-respect when you are surrendering, because self is everywhere. Okay. Anybody else? Anybody else would like to share? Unmute and share your point of view. Venkatji?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Would you like to share anything what people
Yeah.
have told, or your perspective? Yeah.
Self-respect is mainly surrendering to the God. When God comes in, your self-respect will go away.
Self-respect will go away or go up?
Go up.
So you say that
So when you
self-respect is surrendering to God.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm not able to understand this. Can you elaborate? Okay. How is self-respect surrendering to God?
See, self-respect, there is nothing called, see, when you are, God and you are same, right? That is the concept. Self-respect is like, sorry, I don't know. Just think.
Very beautiful. So Venkatji here brought in the perspective of Advaita. Here he says that if in the core, like Dr. Avinash also was saying, that people can follow different path, but in the core everything is same. So here he also says that when you are surrendering to God, you are actually enhancing your self-respect. What Preeti Madam also has told, because you are connecting to God and you are connecting to your higher self. So my lower self is connecting to a higher self, and that higher self, enhances my positivity in my own understanding of the self and those aspects. Okay.
We are same finally.
Fine. I get your perspective. बहुत दिन हो गए शशि सर से कुछ सुना नहीं है. शशि सर अपना ज्ञान हमसे शेयर नहीं कर रहे आजकल.
Good morning, sir. Namaste. Namaste to all.
Yes.
I was thinking along.
Yes, sir.
Sir, I think self-respect is not just one entity. There's so many things that go into making it since your birth. How you are taken care of, how your parents behave with you. You have a step parent, you lose one parent.
Yes. Yes, Shashi sir, yes. Shashi sir, are you there? Sir, do you have some net connectivity issue? Okay, so I think sir left the meeting. Fine. So let us see, from the Bhagavad Gita point of view, how we can try to understand this question. But overall in this discussion, I came up with two viewpoints.
Sir, I'm sorry, there was some disconnection.
Please continue, sir. Continue.
Could you hear me?
Yes, Shashi sir, continue.
I was contemplating a lot. The question is, when do you have self-respect? It depends a lot upon your upbringing, how you are brought up as a child, behavior, your behavior, your influence by your siblings, by your parents. If a step parent, if you lose one parent, you are looked upon as a poor orphan. If you are not good on academics, then you are looked down upon. Your siblings may try to push you down. Your competitors in school or in college may try to push you down. Your seniors at work may try to push you down. So in those cases, it's only hurt and there is no self-respect. It's only when all the things go smoothly that you feel you take pride in yourself and your work and everything else. So I think it's not just as simple concept as self-respect. It's a very complex issue. So when you surrender to God, definitely there is no question. When you surrender to anybody, you follow instructions of parents, you follow instructions of elder brother or sister, then self-respect is not there in between the relationship. Rather, you elevate yourself to a different level when you surrender to them. And the same is true about God. Surrendering to God, there is no question. You elevate to a higher level. That's
so,
my...
Sir, according to you, when you are surrendering to God, there is no self there. You are going to a higher...
Self is there, but you elevate a lot.
You elevate a lot, and therefore that self-respect component reduces.
Yes.
Okay.
You elevate yourself. I can't say reduces. You elevate yourself to a different level.
Okay.
You forget about your own ego, your own thing.
Yes.
That means complete surrender.
Yes. I think the second question is related to first question, and the way you define the first question, the second question, the answer to the second question depends on that. Okay, but overall, summarizing the discussion now, I see that two viewpoints emerged. One, where people, in Buddhism and in Vedic philosophy also, there are two diverse viewpoints. In Buddhism, the meditation that is done is neti, not me. And the person says, I am nothing and becomes zero, So there is we can say annihilation, self-dissolution. Whereas in Vedas, they say aham brahmasmi, that I am becoming everything. I am becoming everything, or I am becoming a shunya. These are the two viewpoints that go up. If you go with the Buddhistic philosophical viewpoint, then I think people who denied self-respect are correct. Whereas if you go with the Vedic viewpoint where myself is expanding and becoming one with Advaita kind of a viewpoint, then people who are saying that the self-respect increases are correct. But to this question, I would like to answer it only from the point of view of the Bhakta. Now, Bhakta is in between. For Bhakta, Bhakta actually doesn't like this statement that in the core we are one. Bhakta doesn't like that. Bhakta always wants the God to be above, and he wants to remain below. He doesn't want to come at the same level, because if he says that in the core we are one, then he cannot have that love, he cannot have that feeling, that reverence, that gratitude cannot come. So therefore, Jnani can say all those things, Shankaracharya, Vedic philosophies, Upanishads, Aham Brahmasmi. But these statements of Aham Brahmasmi, I am, like Hanumana would never like to say that I am Rama. Otherwise, that humbleness, that gratitude, those aspects cannot come, and they say, no, I cannot be Rama. I am not even the name of Rama. I am below the sand particle at the feet of Rama. I am even below that. So that is the way the bhakti grows. So dainyata, deenata, understanding oneself as very, very, very small is actually an important aspect of growth in the bhakti. So I'm not saying that all of us have to follow that. No, I'm saying that if bhakti is your path, then dainyata, see, that is why God is called as Deen Bandhu. So dainyata has to be there. Dainyata has to be there, and in bhakti, the dainyata reaches its limits. So therefore, the self-respect aspect of it goes away. Let me just put it from some slokas from Bhagavad Gita. In the 13th chapter, Kshetra Kshetrajna Yoga, Krishna describes qualities. He describes quality which is the manifestation of spiritual knowledge. If your inner spiritual knowledge is coming up, then you will show these qualities. It will grow. So first quality is about amanitvam. Number one quality that he says is amanitvam. What is amanitvam? Is humbleness. It means that person will not take credit of doing anything at all. Nothing is done by me. I am worth nothing. No, everything is by the name of God, by the power of God, by the power of my Guru, so he, in that sense, amanitvam has been told as the first quality. Then adambhitvam, freedom from hypocrisy. He will not be in the two kind of a thing that, yes, I am a humble servant also, but I am that also. No, he will not do that. He will take only one role, and that role is that I am a very, very, humble person, and he will give all the credit to the power of God. This is point number one. Second, Krishna in the 17th chapter describes that such people who are moving on this particular path, they adopt a certain lifestyle, a certain kind of behavior related to their body, related to their speech, and related to their mind. So here, when he talks about the sharirik tapa, that a bhakta does, there he says that there is worship of the God, Brahmins and Guru, wiseness, and observing cleanliness. Simplicity is arjavam. Celibacy means overall control over the senses. Non-violence. And this is declared as the tapa, or the bodily level austerities which a bhakta does so that his bhakti improves. So worshipping the God, cleanliness, control of the senses, and non-violence. Simplicity. Then at the level of the speech, anudvega karam vakyam. The words that he says should not cause agitation in anybody around him. Satyam priya hitam vadam. So how should such a person speak, or how does he speak? He speaks only which is priya, which is hitkara for people, which is good for people, which is good for his deity. He does all his activity not for his own joy, not for the joy of others. He does his karma because if I do this, my deity will become happy for his happiness. So satyam priyam hitam anudveg karam vakyam. This is how he speaks. He follows these laws while speaking. Swadhyaya, and then using the speech for Swadhyaya, like what I am doing, reading Bhagavad Gita shlokas to you, and recitation of the scriptures that bring that aspect of bhakti in him. So abhyasanam cha vangyam tapam. This is all vangya tapam, and the tapa at the level of the tongue that a bhakta does, and then at the level of the mind, manaha prasadaha. So there is gentleness, there is always a pleasantness, saumyatvam, always keeping a smiling face, serene face, maunam, not talking unnecessarily, like observing the previous thing, atma vinigraha, self-control. Atma vinigraha is, taking control of one's pride also. And then bhava samshuddhi, sublimation of emotion towards a higher purpose. So this bhava samshuddhi at the level of the mind means if somebody insults me, then I use that also as a tool to enhance my bhakti. Saying that if this person has insulted me, my Lord allowed this to happen, it means he wants me to learn something. So the person, doesn't take it to his highness and saying that, I deserve this, or, I am low or I am below. It is not like that. It is, in a way, everything that the person experiences is channelized towards a higher purpose, towards his bhakti. So therefore, following these three tapa, Krishna says that all the three tapa at the level of the body, at the level of the speech, and at the level of the mind. Mind, please remember that always remaining happy. Prasadaha means whatever life brings, a bhakta always smiles, considering it as the will of God, and God wants me to learn something. So he never gives away manaha, prasada, and somyatvam, irrespective of the situation of the life. And maunam atma vinigraha, his self-control is also never lost. And he uses everything, whatever life is bringing, towards bhava samshuddhi, towards emotion culturing and sublimation of emotion to a higher purpose for him, which is pleasing his deity, pleasing his God. Now, there are three kind of personalities which Krishna describes who take this tapa. Now, after you are observing these three behaviors, but what is your inner attitude when you are going through this behavior? If your inner attitude here is ardent with faith, shraddhaya parya taptam, all these three, aphalakankshi, and you are not doing it for any material rewards. You are not observing this kind of a behavior so that people around you should praise what a wonderful personality this person is. Not for that. You are neither, doing it for any material gain, nor any gain related to your sense of I-ness. If you give up these two things, then you are on the mode of satvikam. When you are becoming a satvika, then bhava samshuddhi becomes even more better, and the person can grow on the path of bhakti faster. So two things are required in inner attitude. Number one, you should have unwavering faith. Number two, you should not expect any reward related to material or your I-ness. The attitude with which it is done is to please the deity. Okay? If a Rajasic person does these tapas, then satkara mana pujartham. Why does a Rajasic person done? To seek gaining of honor, respect, and adoration in the society. So there is a subtle feeling that my satkara should happen, my mana should grow, people should consider me as equivalent to God or a godly person. If that is a subtle attitude, then it becomes a Rajasic kind of a self-respect or a self-formation. So self can be sattvika, self can be rajasika. And the self, if mood grahena atmano yat pidaya kriyate tapaha, that is performed with confused notions and involves torturing the self or harming others. Both of them have been put under a tamasic category. So here, when people are too self-critical, when they are too self-doubting, when they are, hating themselves, they are torturing themselves. So then it becomes a tamasic attitude. So very critical for us to understand is surrendering the self-respect does not mean that you look upon yourself as somebody downtrodden. Deenata, dainyata is different from your, you can say, self-criticality, self-doubt, or self-annihilation. In dainyata, you consider yourself as low, but not negative. In self-criticality, you consider yourself low as well as negative. So in path of bhakti, you go down, you become very, 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 very humble, but you are positive. You are positive about your connection with your deity. That brings positivity in you, considering that because you have firm faith that your God to whom you are surrendering will always, protect you, will always keep guiding you towards the positive and will never allow you to go towards negative. So therefore, it is very important to differentiate between humbleness and between self-criticality and putting yourself down. So as a result, the result of these three attitudes toward these three tapas, when Krishna describes, he says that people who perform the sattvic karma, the result is nirmalam phalam. It bestows tranquility and more clarity of the mind. Your concepts become more and more clear. Your inner knowledge starts coming onto the surface. You start becoming more and more serene and more state of equanimity in mana and apmana, in insult or praise. You become more and more stable. Whereas people who fundamentally do it with a rajasic attitude, with seeking reward, gain, name, fame, ultimately end up being frustrated because the result of such a karma is dukkha. Whereas people doing it with tamasic kind of an attitude, hurting, harming themselves or harming others, there the result is darkness. What is the darkness? More ignorance and more delusions. This is the result of these three kind of karmas. Therefore, in 15th chapter, we again see, that Krishna puts nirmana moha jita sanga dosha adhyatma nitya vinivratta kamaha dvandver vimukta sukha dukha sanje gacchanta mudaha amudaha padam avyayantat. Very beautiful shloka. So here also he says nirmana moha. People who are free from vanity, excess pride on one's own achievement. So a bhakta never takes pride of anything. Hanumana did such big feats in Ramayana. He appears to be more powerful even than Rama, but never even a word, even a doubt, even a, hint of pride that comes into Hanumana. He is always saying that it is because of the Nam Rama that this has happened. So therefore, there is a very thin line, but a bhakta is able to understand that you are, understanding the self in a way that self has only one purpose, which is to serve and love the God. And in that serving and loving, bhakta reaches a very extraordinary state of mind where he is unperturbed. And in that sense, he has given up everything. Tameva sharanam kacha sarva bhavena bharata tat prasadat param shantim sthanam prapsyasi shashvatam. So surrender exclusively unto me, unto him with your whole being, O Bharata, by his grace you will attain perfect peace and eternal abode. So the example, that Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa gives is that a bhakta is like the, kitten of a cat. He always just keeps crying, in the corner. The cat only comes and picks up the kitten and takes him from one place to another. Whereas Jnani is like the child of a monkey, who holds on to the mother with his own hands. The mother keeps jumping here and there, but it is monkey, he should have the power and he should have the cognition to hold on to her. Otherwise, if the jerk is too much, the grip may lose and it may fall. So in this way, for a bhakta, the self is completely dedicated to only one entity, and his self-respect is also connected to only that one entity. And actually, in that sense, in the path of bhakti, everything is taken as the will of God, surrender to God, and in that sense, the self-respect is not at all there. And bhakta also has a firm belief that whatever his deity is doing to him is for his growth. So there is a growth mindset with lots and lots of humbleness. So this is the combination of the attitude or the psyche of a bhakta. We can, in a way, call this also as self-respect. So these are different words, but I hope I am able to convey the meaning to all of you. Please contemplate on these thoughts. Thank you. Thank you very much. Namaste.
Sir, can I ask one question?
Yes.
So when we chant Om while doing this guided yoga relaxation, and when we chant Om when sitting, there is a bit difference. We can't achieve that intensity when we chant while lying down.
Yes, you are correct. You are correct, Shashi sir, because you are going from a lower chakra to higher chakra. It is the keeping the spine erect. That is why Nad Anusandhana is always advised to be done in a sitting erect posture. So you can see the vibration also go from A, which is there in the lower part of the body, U in the middle part of the body, and Ma in the upper part of the body. So yes, the Om, when we chant in Yoga Nidra, the impact is not that much, and it is a very subtle but a beautiful observation by you. I agree with you. But since we are, just the whole process is relaxation, we are doing it in a lying down position. But for the purpose, for feeling it, really, we should always do Nad Anusandhana in sitting.
Right, sir. Thank you very much.
Sir, I want to know the Bhagavad Gita, the translation is very nice, sir. Which author the Bhagavad Gita you refer, sir? You are showing in the pictures.
Yeah. This is Holy Gita. You can see holygita.com. Mukti Bodhananda.
Yes. Mukti Bodhananda.
No, these interpretations I modify and write because I want to convey the meaning that I understand.
Okay.
To the people that, I slightly modify them. Yes.
Oh, yes, sir. Because the translation is very nice, very easy to understand.
Thank you, Gandhi sir. So I wish and pray that all of us follow these 3 tapas with the correct sattvika attitude and grow on the path of bhakti. Namaste. I will end the meeting.
Thank you very much, sir.